Hello, my dear friends. Welcome to this new class. And we have been discussing about the marginalization and especially the people, the Adivasis and religious minorities like Muslims. They are marginalized. Their rights are taken away, and they are not given equal opportunity like others. Therefore, we are thinking about ways and means of confronting, fighting against this marginalization, trying to make everyone equal, trying to provide opportunity for everyone in this country. So, we are talking about the laws that were made for the marginalized people. And today, let us see about promoting social justice. Promoting social justice. So, as part of their effort to implement the constitution, both state and central governments create specific schemes for implementation in tribal areas or in areas that have a high Dalit population. So, in order to implement the rights that are provided in the constitution, the government is trying to create specific schemes, specific packages, economic packages and other packages, especially where Dalit people are more, so that from that scheme or from that project, those Dalit people will be able to benefit more. So wherever these people, marginalized people are there, government is trying to start new programs there to help these people. Then, for example, the government provides for free and or subsidized hostels for students of Dalit and Adivasi communities so that they can avail of education facilities that may not be available in their localities. So government, one example is that government is trying to provide free education by providing hostels, free schools and free textbooks, free uniforms for the people of belonging to Adivasi communities or Dalit communities, so that on their own they are not able to study. If government is not helping them, they will continue to remain illiterate, they will continue to do small work here and there, and they will not have education. But when government is coming forward to help them, then government, with that help, they will be able to do their studies, they will be able to get job, they will be able to progress economically and bring development to the country as well. So we will be able to overcome that marginalization. If they get a good job, then they also will be able to stand up in the society. They will not be considered as very low. They will be able to feel that they are someone in the society, and in turn they can help their own community members also to come up in the society, and they'll be able to do well. That way, that feeling of marginalization will disappear slowly. Then, in addition to providing certain facilities, the government also operates through laws to ensure that concrete steps are taken to end inequity in the system. So if there is any inequity, if there is any mistake in the system, then government will take steps to correct that mistakes, inequities, and will make that policy very perfect. Very often the policies of the government are not implemented properly. Something will be done here and there, and lot of corruption is there. The officers will take away the money and so on. That is a problem. So government is trying to operate in a way that will ensure proper implementation of this program, so that these marginalized people can benefit maximum from that. And one such law or policy is the reservation policy, that today is both significant and highly contentious. So government gives reservation for Dalit people. This many seats in the colleges are reserved, in the hostels it is reserved, or in the job opportunity it is reserved, or for them concession is given in the mark requirement. For others it may be 50 percentage of mark is required, but Dalits may be 45. So government gives lot of reservation for these people, so that though they are weak, they are given opportunity. So that is one law that government has made in order to help these marginalized people, that is to provide the reservation for them in different areas. Then the laws which reserve seats in education and government employment for Dalits and Adivasis are based on the important argument that in a society like ours, where for centuries sections of the population have been denied opportunities to learn and to work in order to develop new skills or vocations, a democratic government needs to step in and assist these sections. So some people are questioning, why do government provide reservation for this group? Why are they given extra privileges? And what is the answer of the government? That in a country like ours, the specialty of India is that we have so many communities, and some of them are marginalized, like Dalits and Adivasis. They are all marginalized and they had never opportunity to come up, because a lot of caste system was there and these people were never given opportunity to study or to get job and so on. So they were always abandoned, they were pushed down maximum. Now we have become a democratic country, and therefore it is the duty, the responsibility of the government to bring them up, to help them to come up and help them to achieve a higher social status. That is the response of the government or reply of the government for to people who are criticizing them the policy of reservation. So it is really needed to help those people to experience equality, oneness with others. Then how does the reservation policy work? So we said government has made a policy or a law to give reservation to the people. Now we ask the question, how does it work? Let's see. So the governments across India have their own list of scheduled castes or Dalits, scheduled tribes and backward and most backward castes. So government in India has got the list of people who belonging to scheduled tribe, scheduled caste, Dalits and so on. Then the central government too has its list. So the state government has got their own list, the central government has got their list of people. Then students applying to educational institutions and those applying for posts in government are expected to furnish proof of their caste or tribe status in the form of caste and the tribe certificates. So people who are applying to get admission in the government colleges or in the government hostels or applying for job in the government offices, they have to provide proof that I belong to scheduled tribe, or I belong to scheduled caste, or I am a Dalit, or I am an Adivasi. So that certificate they have to provide to prove. Otherwise everybody can go and say I am a scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. So there will be cheating. So in order to avoid such a kind of cheating, government has made it compulsory that those who are trying to get benefit from the government, they should produce the proof that they are belonging to these scheduled castes or scheduled tribes and so on. So many government and educational institutions also ask for candidates to mention their caste or tribe status. So there is a form is there, when they do the form filling up, they have to write their status or their caste, their tribe name they have to write. And if a particular Dalit caste or a certain tribe is on the government list, then candidates from that caste or tribe can avail of the benefit of reservation. So when they write the name of the caste in the form, government will read that form and will realize, hey, this tribe is already in our list, they are deserving to receive this help, this policy. So if that name is not there in the list of the government, then they cannot get. So they have to make sure that they belong to a scheduled tribe and that tribe is included in the list of the government. Otherwise they will not get. So that is the duty of the state government, to collect the names of the tribes and submit to the central government also, so that nobody is left out, everyone is given opportunity. Then for admission to colleges, especially to institutes of professional education such as medical colleges, government define a set of cutoff marks. So people who want to get admission in the professional colleges like engineering colleges, medical colleges, so all these government has given a cutoff mark that those who receive this much mark only will be given admission. So in their previous exam they should have this much 50% mark or 70% mark, they will be giving a cutoffs. This means that not all Dalit and tribal candidates can qualify for admission, but only those who have done reasonably well and secured marks above the cutoff point. So government will be fixing, of course, for the Dalits, for the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, the mark will be little less than the others. So they will be selected even if they are getting little less marks. But if they are getting below that point that is fixed, or the mark that is fixed by the government, then they cannot get. So only those who are doing well, they will be given chance. Not all the Dalits, not all the scheduled castes and tribes are given opportunity, but those who are serious in their studies, those who are doing well in their studies, they are given opportunity. Then government also offer special scholarships for these students. So those students who are selected, they get still help from the government. Government gives them help in the form of scholarships. Then in your class 9 political science textbook, you will read more on reservations or for the backward classes. So next year you will study more about political science, how government helps the people and so on. We will start studying in the next class. Then you can take the next page number 98. That is about protecting the rights of Dalits and Adivasis. Protecting the rights. Protecting the rights of Dalits and Adivasis. So let's see how is the government trying to protect the people, especially the Dalits and the Adivasis, the backward caste. How are their rights protected by the government? In addition to policies, our country also has specific laws that guard against the discrimination and exploitation of marginalized communities. So, apart from making law, the previous point we saw, government is making the policy of reservation in order to help the people. So, apart from making laws, government also has got a special, they have to guard against the discrimination and exploitation of the marginalized communities. So these communities, they are not exploited by the bigger communities or the rich community. So government checks that also. Let us read the following case or case study adapted from a real life account to understand how Dalits use the protection that laws provide. So let's see an example how the Dalit was using the law that the government provides in order to protect themselves from being exploited. So the villages of Jagmalpur are gearing up for a big festival. Once in 5 years, the local deity is honored and priests from 20 neighboring villages come for this 5-day event. The ceremony begins with a member of the Dalit community washing the feet of all the priests and then bathing in the water used for this. And Jagmalpur, the person who performed this task belonged to Ratnam's family. His father and his grandfather had performed the same task before him. Though they were never allowed to enter the temple, this ritual was viewed as a great honor bestowed on them on this special occasion. Now, it was Ratnam's turn, and Ratnam was all of 20 years studying engineering in a nearby college, and he refused to perform this ritual. So it is about a religious festival in the village of Jagmalpur, and there is a festival. It is lasting for 5 years, 5 days, once in 5 years. So this festival is not celebrated every year. After 5 years, it will be celebrated, and this celebration lasts for 5 years. And from the neighboring villages also, the priests will come, or the pujaris will come to perform these rituals, puja. And one of the celebration is that all these priests' legs will be washed by a Dalit family. So a Dalit is a low caste, and he will be brought to wash the feet of this leg of this 20 priests, and this using that water, that person has to take bath. So that was the system in order to show that you are Dalit and you have to wash our leg, and we have to use that water for taking bath and so on. So it is really degrading. And unfortunately, these Dalit people, they are never allowed to enter the temple. They cannot worship. Only one thing that is allowed is they are allowed to wash the leg. That is, and the people consider it is a great honor for this family. So one man performed, and afterwards his son performed, and now it is a chance for another boy, a grown-up boy, Ratnam. He is just 20 years old and he is studying for engineering. And when it came to his chance to wash the feet of this 20 priests, he said, I will not wash. So he refused to wash. And that shows the quality of education. All other, his father and his grandfather, they were not educated, therefore they were going on washing the leg and using that water and taking bath and so. But this boy is educated, therefore he said, I will not wash others' leg. So he said that he had no faith in this practice, and that his family members were forced to perform this ritual because they were Dalits. So he said, I don't like this practice and I have no faith in this practice, and we are Dalits, therefore the pujaris, the priests who are high caste, they are forcing us to do this performance, perform this puja or this ritual, therefore I have no faith in this. And Ratnam's refusal angered both the powerful castes in the village and some families from his own community. So some people reacted immediately. Why this fellow is so arrogant? He is not willing to perform this puja. He is not willing to wash the leg of others and take bath in that water. So the powerful caste, the high caste, they were very angry with them. And even some of the Dalits in his village, instead of supporting him, they were also very angry with him. And the powerful castes were shocked that such a young boy had the guts to refuse. So his father and his grandfather, they never refused. They were always obeying, yes, yes, yes. But now he is only just a young boy, just 20 years old, and he has got the guts, the courage to refuse. So they were really shocked. So long they were thinking, Dalits are very poor, they are very simple, they will never say no. That was their understanding. Now they realize that Dalits are coming up. And they believed that it was Ratnam's education which allowed him to imagine that he could start comparing himself with them. So they realized, what is the difference? This boy is educated. Because of his education, he is able to understand the difference between high caste and low caste, and he feels that he is also one with them, equal with them. Therefore, there is no need for him to wash the leg. So they realized the difference created because of education. And those from Ratnam's own caste were fearful of angering the powerful, and his own community, his own tribe members, they were very afraid, because we are making the high caste angry. They may take action against us, they may destroy us, and so they were afraid. And many worked on their fields as daily wage laborers, because most of these Dalit people, they are working in the field of this high caste, and they may get angry and they may not pay them wages, or they may not call them for work again, and then Dalit people are going to suffer. And if the dominant caste decided to not to call them, then what would they earn? How would they survive? They also declared that the wrath of the local deity would strike them if they refused to give in. So people were really worried, if the high castes are not going to call us for work, what will we do? We'll have no more money. How will we survive? And we are not washing this leg means the local deity, the temple, that god of the temple will be very angry with us. He may punish us and so. So people were afraid because they are all ignorant and they do not know about all this, and their mind is convinced that we have to do this way and there is no other way. They were convinced of that, therefore they were really struggling. Then what did Ratnam do? Ratnam argued that given that not a single Dalit had ever entered the temple, how could the deity be angry with them? So Ratnam said, how can the god be angry with us? Because we never entered the temple. We are never given opportunity to worship the god, and therefore the deity can never be angry with us. So he tried to argue with his community members and tried to convince them that deity will not be angry with them. And the powerful caste decided to teach Ratnam a lesson, and his community was ordered to ostracize him and his family, and everyone was told that no one should speak or do any work for them or with them. So the powerful caste, they began to take action against Ratnam and his family. They told the people in that village, you ostracize them. Ostracize means what? Keep them separate, no connection with them, not even talking with them. They should be kept separate. So that was the action that they were taking. And one night some men entered their part of the village and set his hut on fire. Then one night some people entered their village and came and put fire on Ratnam's house. Then he managed to escape with his mother. Ratnam then went to file a case in the local police station under the Scheduled Caste and the Scheduled Tribes Prevention of Atrocities Act 1989. So there is a law made in the parliament to protect the tribes, scheduled tribes and scheduled castes. That is, passed the Act, Scheduled Caste, Scheduled Tribes Act, Prevention of Atrocities Act 1989. That is the name of that law. So using that law, he knew about that law because he is an educated person, and therefore he went to the police station and filed a complaint. Then other Dalit families still did not come out in his support, as they were scared that a similar fate might await them if they spoke out. So other Dalit families in that village, they were afraid to come and support him, afraid to speak in support of them, because they are afraid that rich people may come and put their house also on fire. Therefore they were just keeping quiet. And the case was picked up by the local media that led to many journalists visiting the village. Ratnam was written about a symbol of Dalit action. The ritual was called off, but his family was forced to move out as they continued to be ostracized by the powerful caste in the village. So when Ratnam gave case in the police station, the media also came to know about it. So they started reporting in the news, in the TV news. They began to write in the newspaper, and everybody came to know about it. The government also came to know about it, and the government said this ritual is no more. It is cancelled. Nobody is allowed to practice this ritual. That is, washing the leg and using that water to take bath. So that ritual is cancelled forever. So, but the family was chased out from there. That is by the local people, not by the government, because nobody was talking to them, nobody was helping them. So they found it difficult to continue to live there without the support of other people. So though he won the case and that ritual practice was completely cancelled, but he had to move away to another place. So that is a real story that it really happened, and that is how an educated person can think differently, act differently. Suppose this Ratnam was not educated, he also will do like his father. He also will go and wash the leg of the pujari there, and will be taking bath in that water. They will be continue to live like slaves. So he took that initiative, and because he was aware about this law that was passed in the government, in the parliament, and he used the help of that law in order to get protection of the law, and the people from outside also supported him, and finally that ritual was cancelled. So that is how each one of us can make use of our knowledge in order to get protection from the government, in order to get protection, so that other rich castes or higher castes or the majority people, they will not be trying to do harm to us. Now we can see a little knowledge is there, that is, let us see, that is about Kabir. He was a poet, and he's write a lot of poems which is based on social status, and so just let us see about let us learn about him a little bit. So Kabir, you may have read about Kabir's poems in your own language textbooks. Kabir was the 15th century poet and weaver who also belonged to the Bhakti tradition. So he was a poet, and the work that he was doing was weaving clothes, and he belonged to the Bhakti tradition. He used to write poems which speaks about spirituality, Bhakti. Then Kabir's poetry spoke about his love for the Supreme Being, free of ritual and priest. So according to him, the ritual should be free from priest, and there should be free from the rituals. And it also expresses his sharp and pointed criticism of those who saw as powerful. So some people consider themselves as very powerful, therefore this poet was criticizing them. And Kabir attacked those who attempted to define individuals on the basis of their religious and caste identities. So he was completely against people who are dividing, say, on the basis of religion or on the basis of caste and so. So Kabir wanted to see everybody as human beings, as an Indian, not as on the basis of religion, not on the basis of caste and so on. Then in his view, every person had the ability to reach the highest level of spiritual salvation and deep knowledge within themselves, through their own experience. So according to him, every human being is important, and they can receive blessings from God, and they have to work hard for that. They have to pray, or they have to work, they have to study. Simply sitting is not enough, but they have to work hard, then God's blessings will be with them. And his poetry brings out the powerful idea of the equality of all human beings and their labor. And he writes about values, the work of the ordinary potter, the weaver, the woman carrying the water pot, labor that in his poetry becomes the basis of understanding the entire universe. So he speaks about ordinary people who are doing simple works, maybe the person who makes pots, potter, or person who is weaving, the weaver, or the women who is carrying the water pot, going to the river, or going to the water source for carrying water. These are simple themes or the people we find on the village. So he writes about them. He does not think of them as unimportant. Though they are doing small work, they are not unimportant. They are very important for him. Therefore, he is taking care of them and praising them in his poems. And his direct, courageous challenge inspired many, and even today Kabir's poetry is sung and appreciated by Dalits, marginalized groups, and those critical of social hierarchies in UP, Rajasthan, Punjab, Madhya Pradesh, Bengal, Bihar, and Gujarat, and so on. So these are the states where there is caste system is still prevalent. Central India and the Western India, like Madhya Pradesh, Punjab, Rajasthan, UP, Bengal, Bihar, Gujarat, and so on. So these people, there are high caste and low caste. Caste system is very prevalent, very strong in these states. So the people, especially the Dalits living in these states, they sing about the songs of Kabir in order to appreciate his ideas, liberal ideas, where he saw all the people are equal. There is no difference between high caste and low caste. He considers everyone as equal. Therefore, the people are singing his poetries and his poems and celebrating, enjoying, and they want that equality should be there in their society. So nobody should be divided, or nobody should be considered as high as or low just because they belong to one religion, or just because they belong to one caste or one tribe. Nobody should say that caste is more important or that tribe is more important, and so everyone should be considered equally important. That is what we are expected to do. Then only we can really benefit from this. So we shall stop today. In the next class, we shall study about another law that government has proclaimed in order to protect the people of this country, the low caste, the scheduled tribes, the scheduled castes, and the list, and so on. So thank you for listening. Have a nice day.